Oh my god, I feel like I'm gonna make them fall. Hi everyone, Hyla's here. Welcome back to another video. Are we about to talk about the elephant in the room? Today we're here to talk about the 50-ish books I've read in 2024. I'm only going to talk about them like very briefly because there are a lot and I don't want to bother you. I'm just gonna tell you little thoughts and overall experiences by order. They are organized by the order that I read them. First of all, I started 2024. Oh my god, please don't fall. by finishing reading Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm not gonna say that this book was what made Sally Rooney become my favorite author, one of them, but this book was heavily recommended by everyone, and I did watch the show first. I'm sorry, I just had to. Paul Mescal was on it. I had to watch it. I gave 4 stars to Normal People, and I liked it very much. It wasn't the 5-star that I was thinking it would be. Connell is one of my favorite characters ever, so that actually means a lot. Then, oh my god, I think they're gonna fall. Then I read this heavy book that is Nightfall by Penelope Douglas. I know Penelope Douglas has a lot of things that you guys say, yay, but The Devil's Night is one of my guilty pleasures. My favorite book boyfriend is Kai Mori, and nothing will ever change that. It's very hard to top that. It's very hard for you to top Kai Mori, ever. So, but Nightfall, I think I also gave it 4 stars. Very good. I love Will Grayson III. And I feel like this book it wasn't at all what we were used to getting in the other books in the series, but it was a good shift. And I could read about this Devil's Night people in any environment that I would like it, so Nightfall it was. Then I read, I think it was my first 5-star of the year, but let's check. Oh no! Or was it? Wait, yeah. My first 5-star of the year, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Everyone was talking about this book back in 2021. I don't know. Back in COVID, at least. Everybody was talking about this book. Everyone was like, you need to read this book. I read this book. And I liked it. I don't feel like this is a 6-star or anything because I don't look back and think about anything that happened in this book. It was good. The vibes were immaculate. Then we have a book that I soft DNF'd in 2023, but ended up picking it up again and finishing and loving it. It was Girl in Pieces. I think I gave this book 4 stars. I'm not good at remembering the ratings I gave to things. Yeah, I gave Girl in Pieces 4 stars. And I think the main character's name's Charlie. Yes, it's Charlotte, but I think they call her Charlie. This book was very girl interrupted for me. I love this book, and I couldn't think about why I soft DNF'd it. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe it wasn't, but I loved it. And if you have the opportunity, please read Girl in Pieces. Then I read probably the biggest disappointment of the year. One of them, well, I know you guys love Boys of Talman, but Binding 13 was for me, actually. Binding 13 was for me. I really liked Shannon. I really liked Johnny. But I gave it 3 stars because the story was so not what I expected. Because on TikTok, they were selling this to be the book version of Shameless, which no, it wasn't. But this one was quite alright. You know, this one I gave 3 stars. I was like, I see a vision, but let's see where you take the vision. Then, in the middle of these Boys of Talman, I read Heartstopper number 5, which is in Portuguese, in which I loved and gave 5 stars. Obviously, there's not a single Heartstopper book that I would give less than 5 stars. And then we're back to Boys of Talman. I read Keeping 13, and I gave it 1 star. 1 little star. Let me just say this. Shannon was 16. Okay? And this is not advertised as what he was. And I didn't like it as much. It was just like, I don't see it. Johnny's really cool. Shannon's really cool. Relationship really cool. What was happening? Not my cup of tea. That's why I decided I probably won't be continuing this series. Never say never, but it's not something I'm really looking forward to. Then we have Cersei. Powerful women. We love them. I think I gave Cersei 4 stars. Really good. I was like, you go girl. You go girl. She was really the queen. She was nice. She has had her time. I love her. Madeline Miller is writing another book, and I think it's about Persephone. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna love that. Then we have, in Portuguese, I'm trying to remember the name in English. Notes from Underground by Dostoevsky. My first book by Dostoevsky. Loved it. Haven't read Dostoevsky ever since, but plan on, because I have 2 Dostoevsky little books to read somewhere in my house, my TBR. Then another book to book talk, famous book. Back in the day, I've been reading since I know myself as a person. I never heard about this. Especially because I live in Portugal and I wasn't a very social media person. So I read what my library had, and it was mostly silly little fantasy books that did not include this. So I read ACOTAR for the first time. Ended up giving this book 3 stars. I do not see, I don't feel the super hyper hype around ACOTAR, the whole series. But I could see why some people like it, but I don't know why the vast majority of people are obsessed with it. I'm not. I'm simply not, and it's okay. I don't have to be obsessed with everything. Then I read another TikTok, booktube, whatever, famous series. Actually only read the first one. Shatter Me. I loved it. I gave this book 4 stars, and I still think about this first book specifically. Then I read Hooked. which is so insane that I think I gave 2 stars. This was one of the lows. Yeah, I gave Hooked 2 stars. It was quite fast paced, it was fine. The plot was so Wattpad like that I was like, girl, I love myself a good Wattpad. This, I didn't. I'm still very intrigued if I should or should not continue the series because Scarred, I see Scarred happening. I see it. Then I read another famous. This was recommended by one of my besties. She's obsessed with Fourth Wing, and she was like, "You have to read this book. Here I am, reading it. Felt twice. I read it. It was fun. I think I gave it 4 stars. Then we have second pile. Woo. Here we go to the second pile. We have another Sally Rooney book. This one was what changed it for me. Beautiful World, Where Are You? Was so cute and sweet and lovey-dovey. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. Not yet the 5-star coming from my queen, but I feel like in 2025 I'm gonna find my Sally Rooney 5-star. Then I continue with the ACOTAR world, and I read A Court of Mist and Fury, and I liked it a little better. So I gave it 4 stars. Nothing else to add. Then, immediately after, I read A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I gave 3 stars because do you need all of this? Do you need all of this? Did you? Okay. Then we have one of the finds of the year, My Obsessions, Crying in H Mart. It's insane to think that I've only read this book now. It's lovely. You can see from the tabs that I loved it. It's so cute. I have reading vlogs of most of these books, so if you guys are interested to go back on my channel and watch them, I'll be very happy if you do so. 5 stars for Crying in H Mart. Then, A Picture of Dorian Gray. I was a bit disappointed. I gave it 4 stars because I thought it would be more than it was. It was already a lot, but I thought it would be more drama. It was cool. Then we have a controversial one, Powerless. I gave Powerless 5 stars. Another guy that I am obsessed with. Loved it. I love these pages. Like, I love the pages where you're just like drawings and things. Love them. Please do this more in your books. Then we have The Poppy War, which I gave 3.5 stars, if I remember correctly. The Poppy War was fun, but the main character wasn't it for me. But I think I've said that I wouldn't continue it, but I might continue reading the series. Maybe I'll have to reread this one. Maybe. Then we have, here you got it, my favorite writer of all time, which is my queen, Mieko Kawakami. Heaven was a 4.5 stars because why that ending? I still think about it. I still want to figure it out. Why? It was very good. It was very good. Then I read Powerful, the little novella. I don't think I rated that. If I did, it was like 3 stars. Didn't like it as much. Then I read Reckless. I gave it 4.5 stars, even though it didn't deserve 4.5 stars, but I love these characters so much, and I read it in like 3 days. So I feel like she deserved my 4.5. Okay, then we have first time reading Emily Henry. I think I started very well with Emily Henry. I think this has been the only book I've read from her. And Slade, I gave it 4 stars. It was cute. It was fun. I read it over the summer. Perfect timing for this type of books. And yeah, 4 stars because it wasn't anything I've never read in my life. But it was cute, you know? Then we have, dare I say, my favorite book of the year, which I gave 4.5 stars. This has been a book that I haven't stopped thinking about ever. Ever since I've read it, I haven't stopped thinking about it. And I cannot. It's Tennis Lessons. This was very new for me. I'd never read a book written second person. This is like a little diary entries. Very straightforward. Very cool. Amazing. And the best friends in it, just, I can't. I love it. If you take anything from this video, let it be Tennis Lessons, please. Then we have Yellowface. There's an episode in a Portuguese TV show that it's about like policemen doing policeman things that has the exact same plot line as this book. It's insane. It's insane. I loved it though. I loved it. But it has the same plot line as in she stole a real life story of her friend. That's what I meant. Okay, then we have a book that disappointed me a bit. Another bit. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I was super excited to get to this book and be like, yay, cool. It wasn't. My cousin was always raving about this, and it didn't do it for me. Unfortunately, it was not for me as much because I either gave it 3 or 3.5 stars. Then we're going to talk about the books I read on my Kindle after. Okay, then we have Boy Parts. I wish this one was for me. Didn't do it. I don't know if it was the writing style or the plot of the book. I don't know. I still don't know. 3 stars, I think. And then Magnolia Parks. I'm so excited to continue this series this year. I gave this first book 3.5 stars because of the ending. It was looking well to a 4 star, and then the ending, I was like, you didn't just do that to me. You didn't, but she did. It was 3.5. I feel like I'm gonna end this series with a 5 stars. So I read City of Bones. It was a rereading Jace Wayland. Jace. It was a 5 star. Then I got into my romance area, which I'm not a pro. I don't think I find a romance that I really, really love. Still wanting for that. Next year's goal, finding romance tropes that I love, actually love. We read Flawless. Chestnut Springs' first book. 4 stars. It was cool. It was different from what I'm used to because of the environment they were in. It was nothing out of this world. 4 stars for it. Butcher and Blackbird. Still wasn't it for me. It wasn't the 5 star. It was like 4. It was cool, but this one, I give it to the plot. And not the plot as in the storyline was cool, but too much time passed during this book. There were lacks of things I wanted to know and didn't get to, so that's what failed in this one. Then we read Little Women. I'm so excited to read Good Wives now. It's amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars, and yeah, I dog eared some pages. Lovely. Then I read Out on a Limb. Read this one in a day. Gave it 4 stars, I think. And it was very cute. Still was not it for me. Wasn't the 5-star yet, but it was cute. Good for passing the time. Then we have another favorite of the year, If We Were Villains. It was a surprise for me. I loved it. Wasn't expecting it because people are like, oh my god, Shakespeare, too much Shakespeare. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Another flop for me, 2 stars. When you say enemies to lovers, you don't actually mean a man that is absolutely fucking insane in the end. I just don't feel like they work together. They don't. And even if I really wanted to, they don't. Then we have a major disappointment of the year, Blue Sisters. I was very excited to read this because everyone was like, oh, Little Women retelling almost. Oh, whatever, 4 sisters. The sister that died had endometriosis, and the author has the insane thought of putting in her book that endometriosis as a cure. Let me hold your hand when I say this. Endo doesn't have a cure. And I know that because I have endometriosis. And my doctor, the first thing he said to me was, this doesn't have a cure, Carol. I hope you're okay with that. We'll just have to accept it. And I did. And I know a lot of women cannot do that as fast as I did. I'm 19. I've been suffering this illness for like 5 years now. Enough is enough, baby. Okay? Big disappointment. Also, her writing is like, she tries too hard to write something niche and she doesn't do it well. Then, one for my enemy. Woo! I gave this one 3 or 3.5, don't remember. Here we are with Shakespeare again. Romeo and Juliet retelling. I was a bit bored. Didn't want to say it, but I was a bit bored. Maybe I read this for like fall, during fall time. I felt a bit bored. Couldn't really, I don't know. Took me a bit to read that one. Then we have Unravel Me, which I loved. Obviously, it's a 4-star. I think it's a 4 or a 4.5. I don't know. Don't remember. Unravel Me was really cool. I love my girl Juliet. I love my boy Warner. I already have Ignite Me in my TBR to read next year. I read The Right Move very recently. I'm gonna talk about that. I also read Mile High this year. Let's just talk about this on my Kindle. Those were the books I was separating to talk about on my Kindle. Mile High was not it. I read that book hating it. I hated them both. I'm a person, I don't like DNFing. I like to soft DNF, like picking up the book again. With Mile High, I read through it, raging. I was mad. Main characters weren't there for me. The Right Move was 3 stars, I guess. I tried to give this series so many opportunities. I just can't. I think this was the last one for the series, you know? Also read for Christmas, one day in December, very cute, in a recent vlog. And now I'm reading for an end of the year reading vlog because I'm recording this on December the 18th. I've read Caraval, I'm reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price, and I'm going to finish reading Intermezzo. for this vlog. So the books are not in this video, except for Caraval, obviously. And I can say about Caraval that I loved it a lot. But if you want to know my deeper thoughts, you can go into the reading vlog. Now let's talk about books I read on my Kindle. On my Kindle, I read Throttled by Lauren Asher, which was a surprise because I was like, let me try Lauren Asher. I never tried reading anything she has written, so why not start with that? I love Formula One. I like a bit romancy, so I read Throttled and I gave it 3 stars. It was cute, very fast-paced. Then I read The Foxhole Court. That was insane. Alford Game has become my favorite series this year. I gave The Foxhole Court 5 stars, The Raven King 5 stars, and The Kingsman 5 stars. I love them. I started rereading The Kingsman recently because I was all I could think about was Neil and Andrew and Neil, and they're so sweet. Andrew is my favorite character. If you didn't know, now you do. And I just love him so much. I cannot stop thinking about it. But yeah, those 3 books I read on my Kindle. And I read Thirst 6 Venom by Penelope Douglas and was very disappointed. Dare I say. I also read Destroy Me, The Shatter Me 1.5. Mile High that I already talked about. I read Poetics. I read Poetics by Aristotle for a subject in university. It was cool. I enjoyed reading it. I thought I was just like, oh no, I have to read for university. What am I gonna do? It was just fine. I really liked it. I also read Animal Farm, which was on my TBR, mental TBR for ages. Because I loved 1984. Gave it 5 stars, and then I read Animal Farm. Chef's Kiss. And the last book I read on my Kindle this year was The Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I liked the book. I don't know if her writing is going to be my favorite thing ever, but I quite liked The Christmas Fix as a book, as a Christmassy vibe. I really, really enjoyed it. These are all the books I've read in 2024. I didn't talk much about them because that would be boring. This is just a silly little video about it. I think I covered all of them. So, I want to talk goals for 2025. I am going to put out a video with my 25 books for 2025. And goals, I think. I'm going to make my Goodreads reading goal 50 books. Because I read 53 until today. So, I think 50 books is okay. Because last year, during January and February, I didn't read at all. At all. I read Normal People at the start of January. And then I was like, I have other things to do. So I think this year I might be able to tackle a bit more of books. I also want to finish a few series. My priorities are going to be finishing series and reading my books, my physical books on my TBR. I don't think I have any other goals for reading. I just want to enjoy reading a lot. I want to make fun reading vlogs. I want to find books that I will connect with, super connect with. And I think that's it. I want to make my reading journal, take time to make my reading journal, make statistics, make cool things about it. And yeah, I don't think there is a lot more to say. I want to journal a lot. I want to read a lot. I want to have very good grades, so study a lot. And I feel like that's it. I hope you guys have a good week, have a nice day, and I'll probably see you next week. Bye. Forgot to tell you, I also read Guild. That I hated it, so I sold that book. I read Guild, if you wanted to know.